Hello and welcome to the 2025 Escape Collective Fantasy Draft. We're back again for another year, selecting our very own teams of riders to score points throughout the season to crown one of our competitors, well that's a tough word, the champion. It all works like a regular American bull sports draft, with players taking turns to pick a rider in an order from the lowest place finisher last year to the highest before snaking back around. The rules are fairly simple. The rider has to be a World Tour rider. You have 30 seconds to make your pick, and we'll be doing 10 total rounds of picks. Without further ado, introduce everyone. Kaylee Fretz, you're back for another year, which is probably for the best, seeing as you're the boss.
I am very excited to go last.
Great, yes. Well, we'll get to that, but you were the winner last year.
Well, thank you.
Congrats. Kit Nicholson. The
Hello.
last placed finisher last year.
Yeah, I was allowed back, I think, is the situation we have here.
Did you have to have a bit of a talk with yourself this
Yeah,
off-season?
and I've we've cast out the sponsors and started from scratch. We are going from completely from scratch. Yeah, no, it's I'm lucky. I'm hoping that things go a little bit better this year.
Dane Cash, hello.
Hey, Johnny. How are you?
Very well. You are our spreadsheet guy today, so good luck and Godspeed.
Yeah, thanks. A lot of pressure here.
A lot of pressure. Joe Lindsay, you've deigned to join us again, which is great, to be honest, because when I messaged you, I thought maybe you'd be like, actually, I'm going to take a miss this year.
I thought about it because I know less than I did last year about all this. And so the fact that I managed to finish on the podium was pretty remarkable this year. I'm looking to regress to my usual mid-pack finish.
Good idea. Now we've got two people in one camera. The duo, Abby and Toms. Congrats on the new baby. Are you expecting a bit of a baby bump in your competition and performance this year?
No, I did no homework for this. Last year I was so prepared, and this year I just opened Pro Cycling Stats to the rankings, and that's all I've done. So
I am better prepared than for any other podcast. I have pants on, number one, and number two, I've opened Pro Cycling Stats this morning. Even though I rode 6 hours, it was still open since the morning.
Wow, okay. Well, you had a lot of time to ruminate then on your picks, which is good. And last but not least, we have a very special guest today. They will be in charge of the team for the entire Escape Collective membership, so absolutely no pressure. Andrew, welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks very much, Johnny. Yeah, what an honor to be selected to take part in this fantasy draft. I'm hoping I will stay away from my normal habit of forgetting that somebody has changed team and picking them based on the basis of their last year's performance.
We'll do that too. That'll happen for all of us.
Oh yes.
I'm looking forward to picking at least 3 pro team riders, or trying to. Now, we'll quickly go around again because I gave you the option of changing your team name if you wanted. So this will give you the order of the picks as well. Kit Nicholson, you said you made some changes. What are the changes to your team?
Well, last year I was 82 La Mondiale criterion because I wanted to hold on to the brown shorts that we'd lost the year before, and going for a film-related second name sponsor. So I'm doing the same sort of formula this year, but I'm going with Picnic Letterboxed. So we've got Picnic, which is one of my favourite name changes from this year. But it makes a lot more sense than whatever they were before. I've already forgotten.
Nice, love
it's
it.
also got some sort of, I don't know, it feels like it rings with what they already are. Letterboxed, poster now. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's great. Seeing as I did the second worst last year, I've got the second pick this year. I was the Ineos Grenadiers Greenpeace. We've heard about the trials and tribulations of the British squad over the past year, so we've had to take on an extra sponsor. So this year, I'm proud to announce we will be the Ineos Grenadiers Greenpeace Poundland, which is a chain of budget stores in the UK where presumably everything costs £1, but when you go in, it's not actually the case. Mate, is that like a dollar store in the US?
Yeah,
or does everything actually cost $1?
No, we have Dollar General and everything's like $7.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Dollar Tree. There's a lot of options out there. Yeah.
There we go. So that's the translation. Next up, we have Tom's. We're picking third last, despite an overwhelming amount of smack talk to Dane, who finished above him. So, yeah. Any name changes this year, Tom's?
We actually have a musical chair of managers changes. So I've gone. Me and Abby have swapped main sponsors, main teams. And I will this year be known as Little Trek Bauer because I feel like we need some hockey smack talk into this conversation because hockey smack talk is very, very funny.
Yes. Always the most professional of anyone in this recording. Dane, we gave it away that you finished above Tom's. We're lacking most of the year, but then pulled out the bag late on. Are you changing your team name from Visma Lisa Bike Monster Energy, and will you be looking for a quicker start?
I understand I had a rough start, largely because I drafted multiple riders from said namesake team who then had a rough start. But we're going to stay the course. We're going to stick with the team name, and I think the Monster Energy they deserve better for their sponsorship dollars. So we're going to try to give that to them this year.
That's very noble. Abby, we've already heard that you and Tom decided to switch up your team, so could you let us know what your team will be called this year, please?
Yeah, this year we will be called EF Education Swift Nation. We picked up Taylor Swift as our co-title sponsor. I think it's about time she got into sports. So,
yeah, don't quite know what to say to that, but maybe it makes sense after the loss in the Super Bowl that she'd be looking for a different sport. You got to pivot. Joe Lindsay, you had quite the team name last year, Alula Palantir. So are we going for similar vibes this year?
Yeah, I think sponsor stability is really important in these troubled times. And obviously with Alula, part of the Saudi Arabian government, basically, and our coming two cycling overlords, that seems appropriate. Palantir, again, seems like just maybe a little too on the nose for these interesting times. But yeah, we're going to stick with that.
Love it. Kaylee Fretz, last year's winner. I'm imagining the sponsors were pretty happy with you. So any changes?
Yeah, massive changes actually. Complete turnover, and
it's a French
thematic.
team after all.
Well. So, but actually, we're not French anymore.
There we go.
There's a thematic.
Sold
shift.
Your contract.
Yep, sold it. So we sold the World Tour license for pennies on the dollar. And unfortunately, both of the American teams were already sort of taken, right? We had Trek is already gone, EF has been taken. So I'm resurrecting an old sponsor, and we are going to be the U.S. Postal Service Bald Eagles. We're applying a little bit of American angle to it, and we're going to have a mascot, and it's going to be a big old eagle in our backs, and it's going to be great.
So you are basically completely forgetting the rule that you need a current World Tour team or sponsor. I guess that is your right as the boss.
Yep, there we go. You figured it out.
I figured it out. Yeah.
you know what the best part about Swift Nation is? Sorry, I just have to say, the best part is when Taylor eventually shoot. Of course, then
is your baby already trained to cry when you mention Taylor Swift?
Yep. Well, she went to the Eras Tour. When Taylor eventually releases Taylor Swift, Taylor's version, and Reputation Taylor's version, Rafa can make us special edition kits to celebrate the albums.
There we go.
Perfect. How did we not see that coming?
Maybe they'll actually make money this time on that.
Probably would.
Andrew, would you like to introduce your team to us, please?
Yes. Seeing as Kaylee has abandoned the French team in the draft, I have gone with a very French team, Groupama FDJ, and I've added my favorite non-alcoholic drink, because I don't drink, which is a Tourtel Twist, which I'm struggling to find in the UK. Groupama FDJ Tourtel Twist is going to be the country's favorite sports team, I think.
I feel that would be one of the that would be a vintage kit as well, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, like just the same as
bright colors, like blue, red.
Yeah.
I'm thinking some kind of Z feel to it. Yeah.
Just lemons all over the place.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I like it.
good
Love it.
activation
Right.
at the tour.
Definitely. There is one other change which I forgot to mention. Ronan, if you've noticed, is not joining us this year. He, one, had some childcare responsibilities that meant he had to miss the draft, which is responsible parenting. And two, he said that last year he got a bit over competitive. So by not competing this year, he feels like a weight will have been taken off his shoulders, which I believe that comes within the boundaries of self-care. So we have to applaud it. Now, one final thing. We had last year a punishment for last place, which was an Everesting. Now, thanks to the members of Escape Collective, starting on Thursday or Friday last week, we made a Strava club and said to everyone, right, if you're going out on a ride this weekend, log it in the club on Strava, whatever, and we'll see if we can get to the elevation needed for an Everesting to do the punishment for kit. And I think it was within 24 hours that everyone got to the elevation. Some people out there are just riding probably as much as Tom's, well, it's not really their job to, which is super fun, and it's great that people came out and did that. This year, the prizes and punishment are more manageable. The prize if you win is you get a 30-second ad slot in an episode of Spin Cycle. So Tom's, if you win, I mean, I'm sure that the bosses at Little Trek would be over the moon. But the punishment if you lose is that you have to record that advert for the winner.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So, basically you can spend the whole season planning on what you want the ad to be.
That's a good bet, that one.
Let's get straight on with it. The first pick of the 2025 Escape Collective draft. Kit Nicholson. Are we going to see a shock like last year? Or are you going to do the sensible thing?
Well, I might add that the shock last year is because I didn't pick first. So as I am picking first, I'm just going to go with Tadej Pogacar. Because why not?
Love it. Seems immensely sensible.
I think well, without Pogacar last year, I think I would have been last or second to last.
Yeah,
right?
So if people remember last year, Abby had the first pick, decided to go for Mads Pedersen, leaving Kay with the second pick to go for Tadej Pogacar.
Thank you, Abby.
We'll get to Abby's. We'll ask Abby about that when we get to her pick.
Oh no!
For my pick, I'm second because I also sucked last year. I'm going with Jonas Vingegaard, obviously. Straight on, Toms. Who's the first Little Trek Bauer rider of this year?
I'm gonna go with Remco.
Ooh. Even despite the injuries coming back from, you think he'll be back in time and scooping up points?
Injuries long time ago. He's back on the bike. It's fine.
Love it.
The confidence.
Yeah, now it's making me regret my pick instantly, which is fun. Dane, have you got your first pick lined up?
Yeah, I feel like I was going to have a tough call here between Philipsen and Evenepoel, and Tom's has made it for me. We're going to go with Jasper, the master of disaster.
Yeah, love it. Abby, first off, we should have asked you earlier maybe, do you regret not picking Pogacar last year? And do you think maybe you spurned him on to have one of cycling's all-time seasons?
I have no regrets.
Glad to hear it. Who is the first EF Education Swift Nation rider?
That would be Wout van Aert.
Ooh.
Nice.
Joe Lindsay, last year you somehow managed a sweep of a number of amazing riders at the top of your list as they dropped to you. Who's going to be your first pick this time around?
Yeah, just like last year, I'm sort of amazed that nobody has picked Matthew van der Poel. So
there we have it. Kaylee, now that you actually have to think about a pick and you're not just going to win because of Tadej Pogacar, what are you thinking?
Well, for the Bald Eagles, we're going to go with Matteo Jorgensen.
Okay. I see a theme developing here already. Andrew, your first ever Escape Collective fantasy pick, a pick that, all of the members are looking to you for. No pressure. Who's it going to be?
Adam Yates.
Love it. I was worried we lost connection there, but you were just thinking long and hard about it, which I really appreciate. You've actually got the next pick as well because we're doing a snake draft. So who's your next pick?
With my next pick, the snake draft. Joao Almeida.
I feel like there's some serious planning going on here.
Oh, nice
Almeida,
pick.
very good pick.
WE. I was for a second thinking you were going to go for the Twins in the draft, but
I feel like
probably
Andrew's got a spreadsheet in front of him. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, I feel
There's
like
some
he's clicking
serious-
a button to
yeah,
generate
yeah.
the best possible rider, which is something I wish I'd thought of. We're back to you now, Kayla. Yeah, so who are we going for? Another American?
No, although I will be adding some more later.
Okay.
Hopefully. I made a bold prediction earlier this season. I said Jonathan Milan would be the sprinter of the season, and I still think that. So I will take Jonathan Milan, please.
Nice. Joe, has another gem dropped to you?
Yes, I'm going to continue to build out my classic squad, really focusing on the first part of the season. I will pick Mads Pedersen.
Abby Mickey, who is accompanying Wout van Aert.
Biniam Gourmet.
Nice. I think that was Ronan's first 2 picks last year, so that's fun. Oh no, he didn't have Wout van Aert, someone else did. Anyway, Dane Cash, who are we adding to the Master Disaster?
Yeah, I'm surprised he lasted this long. He's a big getter of World Tour points, so it's got to be Primož.
Yeah.
Did you see him at Algarve?
It's February.
It is
I'm
February.
just saying.
It was also a Plateau de Belfiste kind of stage, so he had demons on his back. So
Yeah.
a bit early to say.
He hasn't
maybe.
even shaved his legs yet, so you're right, Dane. things could improve from here.
They almost certainly will. He's riding 2 Grand Tours, so that's a lot.
That's the
a lot of
points getter
to
right
be-
there. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Tom's the second pick. Who are you going for?
I'll go sprinter route with Tim Medlier.
That's also surprising he lasted that long. With my next pick, let me consult my notes. I'm going for Matthias Schelmoser.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Explain yourself.
Okay, so last year I picked riders that I really, really liked or that were French, and I finished second last. So now I'm going to pick really good riders. And Schelmoser scored a lot of points last year. He's doing a bunch of races, a lot of stage races this year. Not to say I don't like him, I haven't paid that much attention, but that's the part of the fun, is you pay attention to riders through this game. Anyway, Kit Nicholson, to close out the second round, who's your pick?
I think I'm going to go with Thibaut Nice. I think he's next.
Right, as we do a bit of a chat in between picking, I'm going to go straight to you, Kit. There are a lot of other very established riders out on the board, and you went for a young upstart. What are you seeing that clearly I wasn't and maybe others weren't?
Well, maybe it's a bit of recency bias, and I don't mean cyclocross because obviously I don't get points for that. But late last season, on the second half of last season, he was on fire on all terrains, and why should that change? So everyone else chose. Jonathan Milan was way up there on my list, although I was always going to be unlikely to get him. Biniam Gourmet as well, Tim Merlier. So I thought I'd go with someone who was going to be a bit of a, versatile points getter, as it were, and pick Nice. And I've got a little bit of freedom with the Pogacar pick. Obviously, not going to rest
You
on
don't
my
have to pick
laurels.
anybody else. You just team with one and you'll be fine.
I can, yeah. So I feel like I can be a little bit maverick without, at least this year I don't have to pretend I'm going to ride up a mountain.
Very true. Anyone else have anything to say? It's hard to pick out themes developing this early on. I mean, Kaylee, your picks are, jumping out to me as you're making life tough for yourself here.
Well, it was such a commanding victory last year that I want to make it a little more interesting,
Okay, fair enough. Well, hate that answer, but we'll carry on. Makes me feel bad. Kit, we're back to you actually for the first pick of the third round. So I honestly can't even think who you're going to pick now.
I also have a piece of paper, scribbled notes, and I can't read my own handwriting, so I'm going to have to improvise slightly. I think I'm going to. I might upset somebody in Andorra, but I think I'm going to go with Tom's.
Ooh.
Oh,
Love it.
I'm very sorry, Abby.
I'm trying to remember where Tom's was picked last year. Did Abby pick him second?
pretty high up.
Definitely not this early.
So,
Well,
wow.
you hadn't had
I
the
was
spring you'd had last year yet, so
I was gonna pick him for the Bald Eagles because he's kind of an honorary American anyway. You know,
well, you can't have everything,
makes
Kaylee.
me sad.
You snooze, you lose.
You do. I'm going to quickly make my pick, and then we're going to go for live reaction from Tom's. I'm going to go for Enric Mas. Big year for Enric Mas. Right, Tom's, you had an incredible season last year, which I think, having you been on this podcast this time last year, we can take 0.01% credit for. So congrats to us. Did you expect to get picked higher than the opening pick of the third round after your season last year, where every time I flick on Eurosport, see like a replay of a race, like you are often at the front, and it reminds me of the good times. What do you think?
I definitely told Abby to wait quite a while because I didn't think that anyone would pick me. But clearly, there's no friendship in this game, is what Abby will say.
I apologize. I know Abby hasn't appeared on screen since I picked her husband, so
Yeah, he's crying in the corner.
yeah, I'm sorry, Abby.
So now that you can't pick yourself, which, you know, this is what differentiates the pros from the fans, is that I think any of the rest of us, the first name on a draft list would be our own. So who are you picking instead for your team?
I'll go with Ben O'Connor. He had a great year last year, but changed teams and now is probably gonna get still quite a bit of leadership. So hopefully he scores big.
Nice. Dane Cash, down to you. How's the rider input job going so far? All good?
Yeah, it's a lot of work. I'm scrambling here. So now I'm like, okay, who's available for me to pick as I'm picking? Yeah, nobody has said him as far as I can tell, and I'm the one entering stuff in, right? So I guess that means I probably know. I'm going to go with Arnaud Delis.
No, you're not. He's on Lotto.
Nope, I'm not going on.
rough.
As I said it, I realized that. You're
That's
right.
our first pro
one.
team, Ryder.
Woo! Sorry, see, I'm just I got a lot going on here, you know, as I'm entering all these names. So who's next on my little list? Let me check. Man, okay, yeah, pretty far down here to the next rider on my little list. Oh, hey, he was on my team last year. Let's go with Carlos Rodriguez.
Nice. Very fun. Abby, now that you can't pick Tom's, who are you going to go for?
I'm going to go with Maxime Van Heels. And Kit, you're dead to me.
Wow. Oof. Rough.
That is tough. Joe Lindsay, I wonder if your next pick will lose you any friends.
Yeah, I'm gonna steal one off the Bald Eagles here and go with Brandon McNulty.
No.
Yeah.
Well, hey,
McNulty's great pick. He's always good value for like 2 stage wins in a stage race overall in like August or something of a race that you kind of forgot was coming up.
and he'll finish 5th behind Pogacar in every stage he does. So there'll be
Yeah, a little
bunch of points
coattails
to get.
action here.
Yeah.
Love it. Kaylee, who is, I mean, you've had a few Bald Eagles picks sniped from you, so
I have. I'm just, you know, there's a lot of honorary Americans in the peloton, I feel, or people riders who just give off sort of American vibes, even if they're not. There's a pile of those. I think I'll see. McNulty was going to be my next one, so now I'm just swinging here.
I'm shocked that there's one name not coming straight to your mind.
What name?
I think that one name, you know, maybe last year somebody would have picked him higher, Johnny.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
all
said
right,
he's
we'll do
not.
No, we'll do it. Give me some Sepp Kuss, please.
Yeah.
The Eagle of Durango.
It makes sense to
Get
smash
some
the big
coattails
Sepkus
points, I
button.
guess.
I tried to sell a pair of his old Nordic skis for $1 million on Instagram, and no one bought it.
No?
No.
Maybe you could chuck them in with the prize of this year's fantasy competition.
There we go. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll do
perfect. Andrew, back to you. It's I mean, how are you? I forgot when you have to pick 2 in a row. How are you finding having to pick back to back?
Yeah, I quite like picking back to back because you can, yeah, you can kind of round out your team. You don't have to wait around to fill those slots that you want to pick. I feel like my team is a bit GC heavy right now, so I'm going to go for sprinter Olav Koy for my next pick.
Quite impressed he's stuck around as well.
Yeah, for sure. And then with the first pick of the 4th round, who else are you gonna add?
I'm gonna steal Tom's pick from last year, Kevin Vokalin.
Nice.
That was my next pick.
Good one.
Well, so
That's a
what's
good
open.
one.
It's a very good
Very
one.
good.
No, it's all good. So it's part of the game.
There we go. So Kaylee, another bald eagle.
Oh God. Which Yates got picked already?
Adam.
Oh, I don't want Simon. Sorry, Simon. And Pidcock is not a World Tour rider anymore.
No,
Come on,
it's tough.
mate. Okay, so in the sort of theme of, I don't know, riders who could be vaguely American, Australia is just British Texas. So we're gonna go with Michael Matthews, please.
I'm intrigued to see how this vibe of yours of like naming people who aren't American is going to go down in the wider cycling world.
Poorly.
Maybe. Joe, who once again just sneaky good picks throughout the board. Definitely a challenger for the top spot already. Who's your next pick?
Yeah, so keeping with that vibe, I'm going to go with Alexander Vlasov. I feel like he had a pretty good year last year with Red Bull, and I think Primož following as far as he did is sort of a sign that a lot of us feel like he's kind of on the downslope now. So I think Vlasov has the chance to sort of step into that void.
I love it. And one of the best things about him is that he openly declares himself like the co-leader alongside Roglic, but then often goes on and outperforms him, which, there's the sort of confidence you want from your rider. Has Abby had to take the baby away? Is she able to make her pick?
She has a pick, yeah.
Oh, great.
She's going with one of her favorite riders in the peloton, Mikhail Kwiatkowski, as he's getting more leadership, probably as Pidcock's gone.
That's a good call. That's a very good call.
A good enough pick as well that we know for sure that Tom's is accurately giving Abby's pick over and hasn't just gone for
kept it for himself. Yeah.
Yeah, Neo Pro. Dane Cash, who's your next pick going to be?
My next pick is typing out Mikhail Kwiatkowski's long name and then checking my draft board. One moment, please. Because Mikhail, I didn't find him on maybe he's here somewhere, but he's not on the rider list because he didn't score in the top, 100 last year? That's all I have pulled up. So it's hard. I couldn't copy paste. All right. Yeah. I like Juan Ayuso here.
Interesting. You think he's on maybe a bit of a revenge tour after
Just
Well,
after
he's
Moo
transferring out of my team.
I don't feel like
You can have him.
I don't feel like he needs revenge against anybody except Moo because I feel like he had a pretty
that's
good
what
year
I'm
last
saying.
year.
That's what I'm saying.
Not on my team. He didn't. It wasn't much use.
He had like 1,500 points, didn't he? I mean, he's fine.
I think he was
He's
the
fine
highest scorer.
for a fourth. There you go. For a 4th round pick, I'll take him.
That's
True,
pretty
fair
good.
enough. Yep.
Tom, seeing as you didn't save Kwiatkowski for yourself, who are you going to go for?
I'll go with Pello Bilbao.
Nice. That
feel like
takes
that
away my goal of going all Spanish from here on out. You're kind of ruining that, Tom's.
Right. Who am I going to go for next? We've gone. I can't read my own writing either. Let's go for. I'm going to continue the trend of climbers. I'm going to go for Oscar Onley. Because
stolen the Scott.
Seems like a nice fella. He's got 2 top 5s already this year. And have any of you seen the picture that he shared on Instagram
Yes,
of a plate of rice with boiled eggs and ketchup? And he's
About
eating
8
that.
boiled eggs, it looks like.
Yeah, and he's eating that and still, finishing well in World Tour races. So there's something going on there that's right. Kit, as soon as I nick the Scott, who are you going to go for now?
Well, I mean, this is going to really upset Dane potentially, especially as he's actually spoken to this man very recently. I'm going with Mikel Landa.
He did a lot for me last year.
Freelander.
So I hope he does well for you.
Freelander, indeed. Yeah. He seems like a decent chap and a great rider, and he offers us with fantastic gifts as well. So,
Please,
Yeah.
your first pick of the 5th round, yeah.
I say that sounding like I got it ready. I'm going to go with Jordi Meus.
Ooh.
Did he just win something? What did he just
Yeah.
win?
He won a stage. Well, he won a stage at Algarve.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Garv. You're right.
And probably would have won first stage if they hadn't messed that up too. Hey ho.
It's
I mean, he did win the sprint,
Oh.
but in the wrong carriageway. So
Was he one of the guys sprinting on the other side of the
Yeah.
barriers?
They should have points for that, maybe at some stage. With my pick, I'm going to go for Santiago Buitrago. I'm just going all climbers this year. I just feel, I don't know. The sprinters just let me down.
So
Or, I
you're
don't
gonna
know.
have a rough between like now and the middle of April. It's gonna be rough for you.
Yeah,
Johnny.
Tom's
Yeah.
will wake you up at midnight on your birthday to trash talk you for your team's
I
weak
will-
performance in the first several months of the year, but you'll bounce back.
I promise you now, I will never tell Tom it's my birthday. He's gonna have to torture that out of me before I give up that information. Toms, we are back onto your pick now. Feel like so far we've had, after Evenepoel Malia, picks like a Connor and Bilbao were sort of the vintage Tom's picks we got used to last year, of where it's real connoisseurs pick, someone who's riding with these guys and maybe has a bit of insight. Who's the next man up?
Giulio Ciccone, a teammate of mine, already on the podium in UAE, and he missed quite a bit of season last year, but is looking good this year.
Has he stopped doing the throwing his sunglasses thing, or is that still very much in his wheelhouse? Do you know?
As long as he wins.
Okay, good to know. Maybe we can talk to Isai and get some bonus points if he does that again. Dane, if you are all caught, fantastic spelling of Giulio Ciccone, so you are in fact ready. Who's your next pick?
Yeah, this is tough because Enric Mas is out there. No, sorry, he's not out
No,
there.
he's not.
I just haven't taken him off
Absolutely
my
not.
list. All right, then this makes it easy. I'm going to go with Simon Yates, the other one. He's going to be fueled by the disrespect of Kaylee calling him out on this podcast.
Is that just because he's gone to Visma Bike where he's going to be?
Well, he's leading the Giro team.
Yeah, he's going to be
Oh.
great.
Yeah,
There we are.
it's a pretty good pick actually.
It is a good pick.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it'll make it a good Giro too. The
I was
Yates for
being rude.
Yates.
Mm.
I'm on the Michael Matthews for MSR train though. That's what I'm hoping for. Get a little
Interesting.
early lead.
Do we have Abby's next pick in? Oh, we do. Fantastic. I think might be. Oh no,
I'm going to go with Filippo Ganna.
nice. Very fun.
I don't know how I feel about two Ineos riders, but this is where we are.
They are Ineos riders with big characters and longevity, though. So I mean, they were both on my list. Good riders.
He did just win Algarve Stage 1.
Yeah. Abby,
Well, yeah, one unfortunately, but yeah.
Abby, was it that Algarve win that has inspired you to pick him?
No, I really like him as a person.
He's also got win in his name.
Yeah, there you go.
He does. A huge oversight from the rest of the competitors.
I feel quite dismayed about my team so far, so I'm just gonna go with people that I like from now on. This is my tactic.
That was my tactic last year, and it ended really
Yeah,
poorly.
mine
But
too.
you never know. We'll
Mostly,
see.
anyway.
Joe, who are you adding to your stellar lineup so far?
A bit of a speculative pick. I'm going to go with Jan Kristen from UAE. He's certainly been impressive this year. And what I like about him is that that team's like stacked with young guys, right? And they're all sort of fighting to be out of Pogacar's shadow. And he's just gone straight to the front, said, beat me.
Love it. It's one of those picks where it's like you might as well pick them that high up, because if they prove to be like the next thing, then you even if you don't win, you win because you were the person that picked them, right?
Exactly. And I'd just like to announce also that we've signed him for a 4-year contract. So finish after that. Sorry, that
Very good.
off the table for you guys.
It's
Perfect.
make it an 8-year contract. Why not?
Right.
Or
Sorry.
lifetime
We do have the Saudi oil money, so we can afford that.
It's just Joe and the Sheikh in the Range Rover going alongside
Right.
the peloton.
He gets a
watching
whole
the race.
floor on the line.
Kaylee, who are you adding to US Postal Service Bald Eagles?
I would never insult this rider by saying that they are American, but he did grow up about 100 miles from America. And while I'm at it, a small corrections corner. I referred to Mexico as Central America in last week's episode. Mexico is part of North America, and I'm going to just blame the American public school system for that one. Anyway, I'm going to go with Isaac Del Toro, please. Grew up, kind of like I think was he in Baja, right? About 100 miles from California. Yep. So
I mean,
close enough.
In California, just a different one.
In the OG California, yeah.
Really? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
It's literally called Baja California. Yeah.
We just took the name and made it again up north. Yeah.
Interesting.
So
I didn't know that.
Del Toro, please. I think he's going to be very good this year. The question is whether he's allowed to be, but yeah.
Andrew, we come back to you for your final pick of the 5th round, and then your first pick. No, let's just have one pick, then we'll take a break, then we'll come back for your next pick. So just one pick, please.
Sounds good. Kaylee stole my pick, so I can't believe this guy's dropped down so far. Pavel Sivakov.
I think there's so many UAE riders to choose from.
Yeah.
So many that are so good.
Abundance of riches.
Andrew, how would you say your picks have gone? Are you happy with your picks so far? And also, is the experience of recording this podcast, has it left you thinking about why you got involved in the first place, due to the 15 minutes it took us to get started and sort of seeing behind the curtain? Has it left you with an empty feeling inside?
Yeah, no, it's fun to see the panic picks. But I'm happy with my team so far. Got a couple really strong GC guys who just mop up the points all throughout the year. I think I wanted to pick a couple more sprinters. Merlier I had my eye on, but just gonna probably round out some classics and sprinters, and hopefully get some sleepers late in the draft.
Nice one.
Not a whole lot of GC riders left, are there?
There's a lot of guys who will finish 6th somewhere left.
Yeah, which is actually worth a lot of points.
It is. That was totally.
It's hard to remember who they are a lot of the time, though, right? Like, because you're not used to writing about them or seeing them necessarily. They're just they're scooping up the points.
What is interesting, though, is I think none of us yet have chosen anyone from Astana who are going to be riding high on belief this season to get as many points as they can.
So true. So true. Dane, your team, I would say, feels spiritually closest to your team last year. What goes into your selection process? Is it just the best rider available, or is there?
Yeah, I'm always going with the best rider available. That's the strategy for building a winning team, and you just hope they don't get injured and sick, But I don't have a lot of carryover. I ended up mostly new riders, some new riders. Yeah.
Love it. Let's crack on. Andrew, you have the first pick of the 6th round. We're getting there. We're cracking along.
Sprinter or no? Right. No, this guy's too good to leave on the table. Tim Wellens.
I like it.
I'd had him on my list of potential. Tim Wellens, yeah. He seems like a good guy, or maybe it's just his face. It's hard to tell. Maybe we'll find out at the classics this year.
Well, he's a co-conspirator of today, Pogacar, so he's got to have some sense of humour.
Yeah, we'd hope so. Kaylee, who's the American or non-American or kind of American you're picking next?
Taken. Damn it.
Who is that you out of interest that you're looking at?
I was trying to remember whether Ayuso was grabbed already, and Ayuso was taken already by Dane. Obviously, that's who would have taken Juan Ayuso.
I'm gonna have to push you there for time.
Uh-oh.
Got the countdown clock going.
Yeah, I haven't been using the timer because everyone's been well behaved. But after the selection of an invalid team name, Kaylee's on thin ice.
Is Denny Martinez still available? Yes.
The Magician, yes.
Give me the
definitely.
Magician, please.
Nice pick. Right, we'll keep spinning this along because I'm conscious of the time. Joe Lindsay, your next pick.
Yeah, there's always kind of a mid-career vet who goes from a smaller team to a bigger team and does really, really well. And so last few years, that has been Christoph Laporte and Matteo Jorgensen. I'm going to continue that vein with Axel Zingel.
Interesting.
These are some picks.
I like that pick, Joe. That's a good pick.
Yeah, it's just...
Yeah, that was on my list too.
Is he not?
To call him a veteran.
No. The one who I was going to pick is not.
To call him a veteran though is he's 26.
He is 26.
It's the Tadej Pogacar
That's
era.
a vet to me. He's like what, in his 4th or 5th season? That's pretty solidly established. First year was 2022 with Cofidis. I'm not sure if that qualifies as pro, but still.
Abby, are we going for 3 on Ineos riders in a row, or are we breaking the habit?
I was going to pick Derek G before Kaylee could try to claim that he was American of the 51st state. Instead, as he's not World Tour, I'm going to go with the one and only Theo Gegenhardt.
Oh,
I have high hopes for our neighbor.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, is that any inside info you've got there that you're using?
I don't know, maybe.
Is that insider trading? Do we allow insider trading?
Great response.
Well, there's a pro sitting in this call, so it's kind of difficult to validate.
He had a decent ride at Algarve, right? Was he top 10, 9th?
He's due some good luck and
he is
and
due some good luck.
So
some good luck.
A nice pick. Dane Cash, who I'm guessing a Spanish guy maybe,
Or a Spanish-speaking guy.
Yeah.
Kit may have the right of it. I have a really tough call here, and I don't want to say who I'm picking between because I kind of want to see if the other person's still around. So the first one we'll go with Kit. You were correct. Jonathan Narvaez.
Yes, I was
Already got some results.
hoping he'd still be sticking around. Yeah.
So that's good. That's good. I'll just take the sure thing.
Yeah, I should have just pulled up the UAE Team Emirates list and just gone off that, working way down. That'd probably been. It's probably not a bad strategy. Toms, who are you adding to your squad next?
I'm going with Project Lenny Martinez.
Love it.
Oh, interesting.
I had him. I think I had him last year. He didn't do great for me, but he's on the up.
New lease of life.
Goals.
Yeah.
Freed from the shackles of Mark Madio to go and be victorious. Who I'm gonna go for Christophe Laporte. I need someone to look at in the classic season.
Well, there goes my hope of
gonna have to take him off the list. You know, if Visma just go 1, 2, 3 in the classics again, there's a chance that he gets gifted a victory against Wout van Aert or something. You never know. Kit Nicholson. Let's get into the crunch point now, where you're really having to have a think.
Yeah.
Thinking is hard as well.
Thinking is difficult. Yeah. Well, I think I'm going to go with Caden Groves.
A sprinter.
Lots of very neutral looks back at me there.
fine. I'm sure he's found a good home on your team. Who will be joining Caden Groves, and will this pick get even more of a muted response?
Get
than
more
the last one?
appreciation. I'm going to go Richard Carapaz.
Richard Carapaz. I'm going to go for... I think he won a race recently, or at least saw his name, so this could be a really bad... Yeah, that's a weird pick. I'm just going to go for Valentin Madouas. I'm going to get a French rider, and I can't help myself. I already had Christophe Laporte, so two French riders. You can try and not do something, but then eventually you just are who you are, aren't you? So we'll get Valentin in there. Tom's your next pick, please.
Seems like I have quite a few climbers, so it's time to pull out some classics guys, or at least less known classics guys, and that's going to be Matthias Vacek, another teammate of mine.
Oh, yeah, he's looking good too.
What can you give us any insight? And he's one of the lesser known riders at the minute in the peloton, but looks like he's going to have a big future. Is there anything you can tell us about him that might surprise or might validate why you picked him?
I mean, he scored some points already this year, but last year was the first year he did a Grand Tour, and Grand Tour does give that extra boost to riders' fitness. And he's been climbing, especially in Algarve. He was climbing super well, and he's not a small boy. So I'm sure we're gonna see him quite a lot on TV.
Love it. Dane, who have you got up next?
I saw today that he went for a ride Col d'Ez.
Well, that's good. Training is important.
Well, especially when you just broke your collarbone. So my faith in Egan Bernal's chances for 2025 has been restored. We're going to go with Egan Bernal.
I love that. Love that pick.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very fun. Abby? We're back to you. Who have you got?
I'm pretty sure that I picked Bernal last year and got mocked for it. Unbelievable.
No, I think that was just holdover mocking for your first pick.
Yeah, it was. It kind of.
Whatever. I'm not sorry. All right. I'm always gonna pick riders who I like as people. My pick is going to be David Gaudu.
The
Interesting.
Snogger.
Is that based on his top knot that he now has, or is it based on his eccentric eyewear? Which was more of a factor in your decision?
All of it. You got to look good to be good.
Look good, feel good. Nice. I'm kind of gutted I didn't pick him. He's just someone. He's a guy you want around, even if they're not aware they're on your team. Joe Lindsay, who's your next pick, please?
I'm pretty light on sprinters right now. I've got with Mads and Matthew, I've got some classics guys who can sprint, but I don't have a pure sprinter. And unfortunately, a lot of those guys, the big guys, are off the board. So I'm going to pick an up and comer. Somebody who I've kind of got my eye on is Tobias Anderson, Picnic.
I like that. Kaylee, every time I get to you, and because of the way you sort of laid out your shop at the start, I'm filled with the most trepidation beforehand, which is kind of fun. But who's next?
I'm going to go with a rider that I actually picked last year, but didn't have a great season for a number of reasons. The winner of the 2016 Joe Martin stage race, Nielsen Palace.
He was doing quite well over the weekend.
Exactly.
Despite recovering from pneumonia not long before.
Yeah. So 6th at Algarve. That was kind of his opener for his season. And this is a rider who he's shown himself at Flanders. He's been very good. And so I had high hopes last year. He had a rough year. I think we're back on track for 2025.
He posted a cute photo of him and his young family, I think, leaving for his first race of the year the other day. So that must be worth some points at least.
Oh, yeah. Thought. Family points for sure.
Defo. We've got Andrew.
Right. Time to round out the classic squad with Dylan van Baarle. He's had a rough couple of years with injuries, but I feel like he's too good to leave on the board.
Nice. And so he's one of the riders I thought Kaylee was referencing when he said riders who could be American because of the way he wears the Letterman jacket and the cap.
He definitely could be.
Here's that vibe. And who's your next pick, Andrew?
Oh, again, another guy. I can't believe he's been left on the board. I think he's going to have a good year. I think he's going to have a good climbing year. Felix Gall.
I I like that pick.
I don't know
wish
what to
I'd
think about
remembered
him.
He's a
He
nice
stays
man.
upright. He's good.
Yeah, I don't know.
He
Yeah.
seems like a nice man. Nice. Kaylee, we're back to you once again.
So quickly, right back.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's very difficult. We're gonna stay with our American theme here, and we're gonna go Magnus Sheffield.
Very fun. Right, we'll keep this rolling. Joe Lindsay, who's up next for you?
Kit had mentioned a couple of rounds ago that it's surprising that none of us have really keyed on any XDS Astana riders, especially since they're chasing points. So I'm going to break that streak. Going to go with Diego Ulisi.
He's a good points chaser.
Exactly.
Yeah. Those Italian sort of one dayers after the Vuelta. Loves a few of those. Abby, your next pick, please. And also, I've just realised that you've kind of hinted that you're picking your riders based on who you like, who's a good person, but you admitted to select Toms with either of your first two picks. So, is there something you want to tell us?
I just thought that no one else was going to pick him. I thought people would be respectful.
Look, it's year 2. Like it's everything for the win.
Gloves
we're
are
all
off.
friends
I
here.
blame him for having such a good season last year.
The Bauer gloves are off.
The Bauer gloves are off.
Yep.
Who's your next pick then?
I missed out on his sister in the women's draft, and I'm gutted because of it. So I'm going to go with Finn Fisher-Black.
Nice. You have to, the way he tried to follow Pogacar's wheel the other day, you've got to think that is a show of confidence in your own abilities, even if it was foolhardy at the time.
He's also allowed to now.
He is allowed. Yeah. Do you think that was it? Do you think it was just because he was allowed to, he decided to? Sort of like the first time you're left unsupervised without your parents. Maybe a bit like that.
Finished ahead of him on stage 1.
Yeah.
Fact,
Dane,
finished second.
who's your pick?
This is tough. I think I like another Red Bull rider here in Florian Lipovitz.
Ooh, good one.
Are you concerned about him having to trade allegiances of energy drink?
I think he's going to balance that really well as he goes on to become one of the few Red Bull riders not racing the Giro for that team. They're all going to be fighting for leadership, and I don't think he's going to the Giro, so he's going to be great at the Tour of the Vuelta wherever he goes.
Lovely sound logic. Toms, who's your next pick, please?
This guy recently won a stage at Algarve and won Almeria already, so he's scored some points, and it's Milan Fratan from Cofidis.
We're getting down to that part of the picking, huh?
We are.
No offense to him, but
well, he's a points chaser as well. For
Yeah.
Cofidis needs points.
They do need the points. Right, I'm gonna go. I can't believe no one's gone for him yet. You know, maybe it's ageism in the workplace, which I abhor. I'm gonna go for Mr. Foix himself. It's Geraint Thomas.
Oh, lovely.
Going out
Lovely,
on a high.
lovely.
And he said he maybe wants to get into management after, so he can. Or he said he wants to stay on the Ineos Grenadiers. So if that doesn't work out, he can be manager of Ineos Grenadiers Greenpeace Poundland next year if he wants.
Invite him on the draft.
Yeah, I can think of about a million things he'd rather do than that. But
it would be hilarious, though.
He would. I think he would. Yeah, yeah. Kit, your one pick, please, and then we're gonna have a quick, tiny little chat because I've got a question to ask that I need answered, and then we'll carry on with the final 2 rounds and wrap this up.
I am going to pick Benoit Cosnefroy, another good glasses-wearing fellow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love it. Right. We'll be brief. I've got one question to ask. People have been referencing a lot about, rounding out their squads, being like, well, I've got GC guys. I need to add some sprinters or classics riders. one, is everyone else operating on the assumption that this is a real team that will be racing 5 races, or is there some sort of strategy that I've missed out on? Can anyone help me out?
I think it's just
I think it's the first one.
romance, isn't it?
Oh, well, maybe that. Yeah.
I mean,
It's
you
gotta
have
look like
to
a bike team.
calculate also that if you pick only GC guys, I mean, there's only so many races you'll end up scoring points at.
That is very
Or
true.
if you only sprinters, you're only end up scoring again in just those few races.
Yeah, the calendar might
Yeah.
be completely balmy, but it's not that balmy. Not everyone can win
Yeah.
all the time.
I do wish I'd just thought these things through before we started, but it's a bit late now.
You've got some variety there, a little bit.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Maybe. You know what? Let's go through these last 2 rounds, and I'm going to go through everyone, get their thoughts on the team, and that'll be it. So, Kit, your penultimate pick, please.
Penultimate pick. I'm looking at point scorers, but also somebody who's racing I like 1 days and in Grand Tours. Alex Aranburu.
That's fun. Oh, it's my go. Okay, let's go for... I'm going to go for an Astana guy, just because it seems fun. I'm going to go for Christian Scaroni. He won the Tour des Alpes Maritime.
Yeah, do you see how many points he got, though?
And
I was really
Yeah,
hoping
but
he'd
he's
still
got-
be around.
he's got the Giro coming up.
True.
You never know.
Yeah.
You never know. Tom's your second to last pick, please. I'm intrigued to see who you're going to go for.
I'll go with Maximilian Schachmann.
Oh,
His
good
new
pick. I was
team.
hoping he would stick around.
Some quality rider, so I think that he's
On
gonna have finally a
Great
good year.
form in Portugal.
Love it. That is a fun pick. Another one it's weird to see drop that far. Dane, first of all, how's it going on the spreadsheet? Are your fingers tired yet? And then let us know your pick, please.
Yeah, it's hard. I feel like by the time it comes to me,
This is
have
why I
not
picked
been-
Maximilian Schachmann, just to throw you off.
Yeah, I don't
like
think
such
he's
a
on my.
hard name
I don't think he's in the top 100
type
point
out.
scorers. I don't
Good
see
luck.
him, so now I got to write his name in. It's a lot of work, and then I got to pick. Oh man,
Schach Max or something, and you'll figure it out later.
I got to spell it
You're
right.
doing great, Dane.
That's
You're doing
important.
great.
We're gonna go with Romain Gregoire.
Good pick. If Dane, if Johnny hadn't kept asking you, we'd have no idea you were having any difficulty.
Oh, it's actually quite a lot of looking back and forth, and then I'm not ready to pick.
I'm sure it is, but you're doing a good job.
I've spent enough time with Dane to be able to, pick up the facial signals, and I could just see pain.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry for being an empath. Abby, your pick, please.
I just want to point out hilariously that Kit has 4 of my picks from last year.
Interesting.
That's completely unintentional, I promise.
Oof.
But
Kit's
Great
just
mind.
looked at my picks from last year and been like, Abby did it right. Minus that
Well,
first one.
I can't disagree that you did do it right, but I also, if any, it's not deliberate. But thanks.
I am also not deliberately picking a third Ineos rider.
Yes, you are.
Timon Arnsman.
Okay. Nice guy then, I presume.
Yeah, super. I don't know, but his girlfriend is awesome. So
Probably it overlaps usually, doesn't it? Well, at least you'd hope.
Connor
Good
Swift
stuff.
not joining Team Swift Nation.
Oh, good question. Or Ben
All in good
Swift.
time, maybe. There are 2 options left.
That is crushing. It's going to be a choice of the Ben's, the Swifts in the last round. Joe, who is your second to last pick, please?
Well, unfortunately, it was going to be Timon Arensman. So I've got to scramble here and figure something out.
I'm looking at the thinking faces. It's all very good. It's very pleasing. There are lots of hands on chins, and
This is a pure emotion pick, just because I love the way he looks when he climbs. He's the most distinctive climber in the peloton for me, because of the way you can just pick him out. Is Maury van Sevenant.
oh wow, yeah, that is a distinctive style.
Yeah,
In fact, style might not be the word.
he's sort of the Jonathan Milan of climbers.
Nice.
Yep.
We need to add that to his Wikipedia page straight away.
What happened if you put them
Kaylee.
on the same team? Then would they like just swing their heads in a circle? It'd kind of balance out.
Either like a
Frequency
counterweight sort of
cancellation.
thing. Yeah. Kaylee, your pick, please.
Luke Platt,
Oh, is this again your Australia is what?
British
British
Texas.
Texas or something?
Yeah.
We're gonna have to. We'll talk about that in After Dark of this episode.
Oh
'cause I
yeah,
need to
that
learn
sounds
more.
right. Yeah.
Andrew, to be the first complete team of this year's draft, please give me your final two names.
He's had a good Vuelta last year. Pablo Castrillo. Want to see what he can do this year.
Very fun.
He had a good race in UAE as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like
like
he's
that. And
just
then you.
hopefully given
Oh,
some
well.
opportunities to
Yeah.
shine.
There was already a sign of some sort of Movistar fork though. It was
Just
2-pronged, but
not a
yeah.
trident yet. It's a sort of fondue fork.
Nice. Your final pick, please, Andrew.
Tough one. Do I go for the young guy or kind of vibes based? I think Lantern Rouge called him the J.R. Smith of the peloton. Marc Soler.
Hey, I like that pick. That's
Yeah, I'm surprised he fell that far, actually. Interesting. Right, we're on the final furlong. Kaylee Fretz to close out the US Postal Service Bald Eagles. Who's your final rider?
Kevin Vermark.
Yes, that is a great pick. That's a heart, not head pick, that.
Yep.
And it has to be respected.
We love Sweet Kevin.
You gotta love Sweet Kevin.
Well, he sounds Belgian, so it's like, oh, he's not an eagle. But then you're like, oh, wait a minute.
He is an eagle.
He is actually genuinely, like, I think he's a very good bike racer, and he's still quite young. Hold on, I just had him up here.
I remember watching him at the Glasgow World Champs, and he was in the breakaway, but still finished in the top 10, 15. And coming over that hill every time, I was at the top of the hill, and he just looked like he was digging deeper than he'd ever dug before. He was one of the standout riders of that race.
He won. He won U23 Liège. He's only 24. Anyway.
He was born in Johannesburg as well, so he kind of fits your American, but also maybe not American thing you're going for.
Yeah, just claiming other people. Yeah, other nations. Yeah.
Look, everyone's got to have a vibe. It's up to the chooser what it is. Joe, to close out another phenomenal draft performance, who's your final selection?
I believe I'm going to go back with Astana again and pick Mr. Alberto Bettiol.
Nice.
Joe, I'm sitting here like looking at Bettiol's stats, trying to decide whether I was going to pick him here. So that makes my job easier. I appreciate that.
Abby, is it Swift time? Is it not Swift time? Is that your baby sneezing?
Yeah, sorry.
Is that a sign?
Sorry
change
for
your
the
pick
extra
based on the
sounds
sneeze?
on our end.
It's
We have
okay.
a sniffly, sick baby.
Oh.
I'm going to go with Patrick Conrad for my final pick.
I like that pick too.
That is a nice pick. Dane, who's your rider since you don't have to go for Bettiol now?
Well, there's two, and I'm still typing in Patrick Conrad. So you just give me a moment here.
Patrick Conrad isn't even that long, Dane. Come on.
Yeah, but
there's
I
probably
bet
like
you didn't know he had a
40,000
K.
Americans called Patrick Conrad.
Instead of a C, so it
So that's
takes
sort
a
of
second.
two first name thing that got going on.
It only makes sense to have a K.
Yeah. Good point.
All right, so this is tough. This is really tough. There's a... Well, I don't want to say it because I don't want somebody else to get it.
I mean, there's only like 3 people left, man.
I'm going to go Stefan Kung.
Fun. Also a short name for you to type out. So that
Don't forget the
works out.
umlaut.
Well,
Do
this
not
one
forget
is
the
in
umlaut.
the spreadsheet because he was like in the top 100 last year, so it's easy.
Nice. Toms, your final pick, please.
Lawrence Pitty.
Oof, that's
Someone you
my
picked
pick.
last year as well.
Did I grab him last year?
I thought it was Tom's, no? Let me.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, Tom's did.
Tom's
Team
did.
World
You're
Tour
right.
this year? Oh no, he's Red
Yeah.
Bull,
Bora.
isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Yep.
I think he's going to have a great year. That's a good pick.
There we go. With my final pick, a rider who I will believe will bring the exact vibes I'm looking for to the group as it's delicately balanced now. It's sniper himself, Antonio Tiberi.
Oh no.
I was wondering if he was going to go the whole draft without getting selected.
You gotta do it.
He
I
is,
think on
the
points-
highest ranked unpicked rider at this point.
On points,
Yeah.
he's very much a good choice.
He's also looks like he's a pretty good bike racer as well. So
Yes,
That's
he
what I
does.
mean. He's really good.
Ineos Grenadiers, Greenpeace, Poundland. We've got a very slick PR operation, so it's not going to be a problem. Kit, your final pick to close out the entire draft, actually.
Well, this is difficult. Who do I want? Do I want to go? Like a lot of people have been saying, do I want to go vibes or do I want to go points? I can probably afford vibes, maybe, but touching all the
You
wood.
can afford anything, Kit.
Yeah.
You could pick me and you'd be fine.
As Kaylee proved last year.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go the combination of vibes and sense and pick Paul Lapera, current French national champion. And he's got a great big smile on his face. I'd love to pick Esteban Chavez, and I would really like to see him win a big old stage at some point, but I'm going to go with some new blood and go with the French national champion himself.
Nice. Right, that concludes the draft. We're now going to go quickly back down the line for brief closing remarks about how happy you are with your team, maybe your expectations of where you're going to finish, and anything else you want to add. So, Kit, after having finished last year, picking Tadej Pogacar this year, do you think you've basically already won?
Well, anything can happen, as we all know, and Pogacar is not racing loads. He's now doing some classics and then just the Dauphiné Tour and maybe Vuelta. So there aren't loads of points on offer, even if he does win everything. But yes, I am. I'm not expecting. I'm not. Well, I'm hopeful of a decent result, and I would like to see. I will enjoy following what this other bunch is going to get up to, especially my third pick, of course, who is
Yes,
preoccupied right now, but.
For sure. I honestly think I'm going to come top 3. I can't believe I've got this team. It's all different to last year. I've used my head instead of my heart, picked some characters, and everything's looking up. Tom's, and more maybe compared to your team last year, maybe you've gone for a few more well-known hitters, and last year you were maybe going for some undiscovered guys, hoping they would, burst onto the scene. Is that how you see the change in your picks this year, or do you think you just got the strongest riders on the board?
I think last year I was just quite far down the line, so I ended up having to pick like some guys that were maybe less well known. But I like that Kit picked Thibaut quite early on because he's definitely a guy that I think will score big this year.
Nice. And thank you once again for joining, despite having innumerable more important things to do with your time. We appreciate it a lot.
Scoring points for Kit's team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been training hard, Kit.
Good. Glad to hear it. I'll be checking in.
I've had a good week. Even if December I was sick twice, we're back on track.
Glad to hear it.
Tom's, one final thing. Will you be continuing your smack talk delivered almost exclusively to Dane Cash this year? Are we going to see that again this year?
Yes.
I hope so.
Dane, have you prepared in any way to deal with the smack talk? Because I feel last year it was maybe getting to you a bit, an impact in performance.
He's not prepared for what's coming.
Oh, I wasn't prepared at the start, but I honestly feel like it improved the team's performance because they were up to it. I mean, they were up to the challenge. My goal by mid-April was just beat Tom's. So yeah.
The least expected rivalry of the Escape Collective Fantasy Draft, but we love it. Abby, do you think you have the guys to deliver you victory? And obviously, you also did the women's draft this today as well, which you can go listen to on Wheel Talk. So, which do you feel more confident in, your women's team or your men's team?
I like my men's team quite a bit. I've got a really solid team, but I do not think I'm in for a chance of even podiuming in this draft this year. Let's be honest.
You picked the nice guys though, so that's all that matters, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm really happy with the people on my team.
Perfect. Joe Lindsay, do you think you have what it takes with your team this year to go from third to maybe second, maybe even first?
I think my team has what it takes to jump 2 spots, or to move 2 spots rather. I think what's going to happen is that I'm going to finish 5th. And the reason for that is that if you look at my roster, obviously I've got Matthew, I've got Mads. They're gonna be at the front of the pack. But I think the guys that I picked they're like reliable point scorers. But I would not be surprised if at the end of the year, if we tallied this up, if this team had the fewest number of actual wins. They're going to score points and they're going to do fine for that. But as far as wins, it could be a little thin.
Nice. Kaylee, a chaotic draft from you, I think it's fair to say. Sort of feeling out the vibe you wanted as you went along, but overall happy?
No, because Joe stole Brandon McNulty from me, and that was key to the entire strategy. And without McNulty, I'm genuinely quite concerned about my prospects here. Much hinges on whether the Eagle of Durango can fly once again, and we don't know the answer to that question. I think
you've got a Milan San Remo winner in there, but it's not the one you said would. I'm going for Jonathan Milan for Milan San Remo. Early pick.
Yeah,
big boy, you might descend quickly off the Poggio.
Jonathan Milan, obviously not an American bald eagle enthusiast, but kind of looks like he could be like a high school quarterback. So I think that's enough for me to pull him in.
Johnny Milan sounds like he could, be from New Jersey.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, or north end of Boston, something like that.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm pretty much hinges obviously on whether we have some turnarounds from last year. Nielsen Palace had a great 2 years ago and a kind of rough 2024, stuff like that. But I feel good about it. I feel good about being second or third from last, but not last place.
Nice. And finally, Andrew, thank you for coming along for the draft, for representing the members. I hope that they give you feedback that's straight to the point, depending on the performance of your team. I think that would add a nice edge to the competition. Are you happy with your team? Are you prepared to steward them to victory? And are you already thinking of what your advert would be?
I'm happy with my team. I think I would have liked to get one of the big 6 names at the top of the list. Probably, Van Aert was the one I had my eye on, but no, I was happy with my selection. A couple kind of guys I was hoping to have a good season, especially the young guy like Castrillo. I was surprised that some of the guys like Kung and Pithy went so late. I had my eye on Maduas and Antonio Morgado, who I didn't end up picking, but yeah. It'll be fun to see. The members, I'm sure, will be shouting at me. I didn't pick that guy, but it'll be fun to see it play out.
Are we doing a transfer? Because I want McNulty, and I will pay Joe anything.
Yeah, I was going to just ask how much you want for Big Mac.
Well, when would be a good time? And we won't record this again. We can just have a we can do it amongst ourselves and update everyone. Maybe between the Giro and Tour, then you have the opportunity to.
We got to figure out what the dynamics would be, right? Am I paying Joe actual money, or am I paying him in points? What's the
future picks?
I think you just trade riders.
We just have to trade one.
Yeah, you have to. If you want McNulty.
What if it was a trade in the same? A trade in the same row.
Yeah, or two,
no,
like
then I'm
a
trading
9 and 10
Sepp
for a 2. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
We're pending that. Thank you everyone for coming along. This was a lot of fun last year. I feel it gave us extra interest in the racing season. Any final remarks from anyone else? If not, we can say goodbye, and Kit can start texting Tom's, inspirational quotes to.
Yeah, I'll be expecting those training updates on.
What happens if we get to the late in the season and Kit and Tom's are at the top battling it out, and Tom's
knee injury.
Well, but what if you're at a race, Tom, and you happen to be riding in this race for Matthias Vacek, but I feel like there's it's complicated dynamics here, and it's just going to make it much more fun to watch.
I like it.
Yeah, what are your priorities, Toms? Come on.
My priorities are for sure just to have a good ride myself when I can, and help the team when I can.
You know what's unfortunate is that Larry Warbass isn't on a World Tour team, and I could have brought him in and managed him.
Yes.
Which Americans haven't been selected?
I got most of them. Quinn Simmons I didn't get, which Quinn had a. No, I got Vermarca at the end there. Quinn had a rough year last year, but has been training well. He's been down in Tucson for a while, I think. Yeah, Lamperti is he going to get any opportunities?
He's leading out Paul Magnier.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? That's the thing. All right, I think it's time for us to wrap up.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thanks everyone. Also, there'll be a companion article to this, so you can kind of see all the picks, and it'll also have a link to a leaderboard that updates itself, which was designed by Escape Collective member Elizabeth. So thank you very much for designing that last year after we'd recorded. It was amazing, and it stopped me having to type it out and do maths that hurt my brain. So thank you very much for making that, and hopefully next year we can have even more members on, maybe, or figure out another way for it to work. But as long as it's fun again.
We've been threatening Jace with creating a game around it, but I think that's a ways out.
Yeah. He needs to lie down after the website migration.
Big long lie down.
Andrew, you need to do just okay, because if you do really well, we'll all be salty and we won't want members back.
On Reddit a few years ago, there was a thing called Place, where it was a community thing where people would type in what color they wanted a certain grid on this massive grid to be. You could do a live kind of input thing for anyone on the Discord, just to chuck in a random name to kind of have a community pick.
I like that.
That's a good idea. We'll look into that.
So this is the end of the show. Thank you so much for listening. As always, become a member over at escapecollective.com/member. We're headed in after dark. If you're a member, you get to continue to hang out. If not, we'll see you Friday. Thanks, everybody.